What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on assembling the 1500 horsepower MMR short block that you guys have probably seen in the last few videos. In last video you guys saw that we basically finished up doing all of the valves, lapping them, getting the new valve springs put in, the new billet retainers. Well, actually they're titanium retainers. Got everything put on the heads. We got the head gaskets put on. We got the heads actually put onto the block with the new head studs from ARP. Got everything bolted down and torqued down, so we're actually good to go. Today we're going to be assembling the cams and the timing set, and if we get any further than that, then that would be great, but I'm trying to take everything very slow, very cautiously with this engine. Obviously, if you guys don't already know, we've got almost $20,000 tied up into this, so we're being very careful with everything. So I guess let's hop right into it. We're gonna get started putting these cams in, and hopefully hopefully this goes well. We've never done this, so we're gonna give it a shot. All right, guys, so the heads are basically ready for the cams to be dropped in. We've already lubed up the journals right here. We've got our tensioners with our front caps right here for the secondary chain. These are the secondary chain tensioners, and our primary chain tensioners are right here, but we're actually gonna be replacing these instead of the stock OEM ones. We're gonna be putting in these nice billet MMR ones right there. So we're gonna do that here in just a second, but first we need to get these cams dropped in, get the cam caps put in place, and yeah. Here are the 4 cams that we're gonna be using in this engine. These are actually custom grind stage 3 comp cams. MMR actually spec'd these cams out for me, and these are supposed to be the most efficient cams that you can get for a blown Coyote, and that is obviously what we have. We've got the VMP Gen 3 Supercharger over there that we're actually gonna be upgrading to a Gen 3R here in the next few weeks. We just got to get this engine running in the car, get it broken in, all that good stuff, and then we're going to be putting on their new Supercharger, the Gen 3R, and we're going to be pushing for hopefully the highest horsepower record with that new blower. So let's pop these cams open and check them out. I've actually had them for a while and have not even gotten a look at them yet. We got to figure out which one is intake and which one is exhaust. Nope, but we got some stickers.
Probably LI, RE. Here's left intake, left exhaust.
RI, RE, LE? Yep. Okay, cool. Oh, look. The heads have L and R on them, so you know which way you're supposed to look at them. Okay, so this is the left side head. Also, guys, be very careful. If you're ever doing a cam on an engine, do not drop a cam. Or any engine parts, honestly. That is pretty. So here is our intake cam. So this is the left side. So we're going to be putting this one in.
Right about at that angle, whenever we're putting it in. That way you notice we have no opening here, no opening here. It's gonna have to have a little bit of pressure, but it's not gonna open the valve.
Okay, I see.
And then no opening here, no opening here. So once we actually get these dropped into place.
Right now we're looking at it because we've got to actually rotate these cams to just the right position where it's not actually pushing down on any of the valves. And whenever you push down the valves, if the cylinder is up all the way, which in our case it's not, we double check, but if it were to be up all the way, you would actually be pushing the valve down into the cylinder. You're worried about bending valves and stuff like that, because this is an interference engine. And what an interference engine basically is whenever the valves are at their lowest point, the piston head is at the very top of its point, they would collide. So they occupy the same space, but because of timing, the valve comes down, and then as it goes up, the piston comes up. So they never actually touch unless the timing chain breaks.
Squeezy do.
Now we're going to squeezy do some assembly lube all over this cam. You want to make sure that you are very liberal with the amount of lube that you get on this cam. You do not want any of the journals to obviously be even partially not lubricated. You want everything super lubricated. Okay, and now this is the part where I told you guys as we were disassembling the stock engine, I told you to make sure that if you're disassembling an engine to take pictures of everything so that you know where everything goes back to. So we've got our cam caps, but each one of these cam caps are actually machined out very differently. They're unique in the way that they're just barely, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Well, honestly,
you need to keep track of which one goes where.
They're basically bore matched. So even though they're all probably almost identical,
they're just thousandths of an inch off.
Yeah, and that can cause a cam to wipe if you don't put it back in the right orientation, number 1, or order number 2.
That's the best way to explain it. So anyways, I went ahead and took pictures of it. So now we're going to match the numbers that are on top of these caps to where each of them go. Boy, I look like a whole idiot with this camera on my head. I never get to see what I look like. What the f?
Yeah, exactly. My favorite part though is like you have a reverse mohawk through your mohawk, kind of.
Yeah, I know.
You notice that?
Yeah. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5. 10, 9, so it starts at 10 at the big end.
Back here?
Yeah.
10, 9,
8, 7, yeah.
10, 9, 8.
So 8 goes here.
Now make sure it's in the right orientation.
Now here is another very important thing when assembling an engine.
Yeah.
There's so many things that I could just sit here and talk about because this is such a delicate process putting these together. But whenever you're tightening down cams, you do not want to tighten one of the cabs down all the way first. That's where you make a very, very large mistake. What you need to do is you put all the caps on both of the cams. So now that we've got this one, we're gonna go ahead and lay out our next cam.
Hey, where's number 9?
Oh, I guess that might be 9. No, this is 6. Unless it's 9. No, it can't be because
it is. It's 9. Look at the way that.
7. Oh yeah, because 6 is the cap anyway.
Yeah,
so yeah, that's 9.
saying.
Anyways, though, so basically, whenever you're tightening down these cams, you want to get all the caps on. You want to tighten this one down a tiny bit, this one down a tiny bit, this one down a tiny bit, this one down a tiny bit. And basically, what it does then is it works the cam down evenly into place instead of torquing down one part and then torquing down the other part. Same thing with head studs. That's why you work from the inside out. You want to kind of do the same similar thing, but you want to tighten it down very gently here and there and here and there until you get the bolts bottom down. Then you can grab your torque wrench and you can torque up everything. So anyways, though, we're going to go ahead and put in all the caps on this one. We're going to get them tightened down, pull this cam down. I'm going to go ahead while he's doing that and put in the exhaust cam of the driver's side head. Then after that, we can go ahead and do the other side the same way. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I got real productive real quick. I don't know why. Now I got real motivated.
On this one, the second set of lobes. So not these, but these are going to be facing almost directly upwards. You'll see it'll kind of like roll into place how it needs to go.
Yep, right there. Alrighty, guys, now we've got all of the caps put in place except for this very front one with the chain tensioner on it. We're going to go ahead and get all that stuff put in.
It's actually coming together.
Yeah, I know. I'm honestly more excited for this than I was to buy the Shelby.
This is going to be pretty badass.
This is just, I don't know, that car is, like I said, that car is like my pride and joy, so this is like a really special thing for me to be able to put this together. All right, I'm gonna use this time that we have the cams out and we actually can compare the stock cams to these stage 3 cams over there, and I'm gonna show you guys the duration differences. You can actually see it.
If you notice right here, you see how this lobe is like, it comes to almost a point, right? That point right there, whenever that point comes, that is actually what opens the valve. It pushes down on the valve and opens it up, and whenever it rotates around to the part that is actually rounded off, the valve comes down and closes the valve.
And whenever cams are actually spec'd for duration, that is what they're talking about. They're talking about the duration that the valves are open for.
So you can actually see on these cams right here, instead of having that point, you've actually got like a bigger rounded off section. So that is gonna hold that valve open for a lot longer.
So basically what that means is whenever the valves are open longer, the engine is able to actually suck in more air and push more air out, thus creating more horsepower. With the extra added air, you're now able to throw a lot more fuel at it, and obviously more horsepower. So that is how cams actually make more power. Also, along with the added duration that the cam opens the valve for, they've also got what is called lift. So the lift of the lobe is actually the height of the lobe right there. On the stock cams, they're obviously not that high, but on these cams, they're actually a lot higher. And basically what that does is push the valve open further. And that is why whenever you do any kind of cammed application on any engine, you most of the time have to go ahead and install valve springs, and that, as you guys see, is in there. We've got upgraded valve springs and titanium retainers, and basically the retainers are the caps that hold or push down on the valve spring. I realize that a lot of people that watch this channel actually do not understand the complete workings of an engine and how cams work and how everything else works, so this is actually the perfect opportunity to be able to explain a lot of this stuff. So we got the driver's side head here completely finished up. We've got the passenger side head here completely finished up. Now all we need to do is torque the cams down. Next up, we've got our cam phaser lockouts. So these are actually complete billet gears and a billet plate on the front, and basically this allows you to completely delete the VCT, which is basically the variable cam timing, out of the car. If you notice on this gear right here, you see that there is actually 2 sprockets back to back right here where my thumb is, and those are for the secondary chain, and I'll show you I'll show you why these are very beefy in a second, but this right here is for the primary chain. So Doug actually put these in place already, and you can see right here, this is your exhaust cam phaser. You see that there is a chain that connects this one to this one, and the benefit to these phasers is that if you look right here on the front of the plate, you can actually loosen up these 6 bolts here, and you can spin it just a tiny bit and get it to be as much timing advanced as you would like, instead of doing it electronically via the phasers that come in these cars stock. Generally, you can just add timing in through the tune. Now we're setting cam timing manually, and it will be fixed, which is really nice because we're going to be throwing a lot of power at this, so we want to get rid of the phasers. So on the stock right here, you can notice that there is a single chain, which basically drives the exhaust and intake cam together. But you notice how small this chain is, and it's just a stainless chain, kind of booty. Anyways, The new stuff, we're soaking them in oil right now, so I'm not gonna take them out. But you can see that the width right here, that is one chain, and that is one chain next to it. So instead of the single, this is actually a double width chain, which is super strong. These are actually billet chains. The secondary chains generally are the ones that break on these engines. I believe, yeah, I believe so. So we went ahead and we got the upgraded billet chain. Should have no issues with those at all, especially at the RPMs that we're gonna be throwing these at. Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit hard to see, but if you notice this little timing mark right here, you notice this MMR logo right here, that is actually in line on this one. So we have that chain in the right place. And then over here, there's another little tick mark right here. You see it? And it's supposed to go in between these two MMR logos right here. So once that's in between there, we know that that one's lined up. Now we can take both of these gears as a whole with the chains attached to them and slide them onto the cams. We've actually already gone ahead and done this on the passenger side head right here. Basically, you can loosen all these Allens and you can spin the phaser, or well, not the phaser, the lockouts now, and that's how you adjust for cam timing. Obviously in the tune, you can still adjust for ignition timing and things of that sort, but cam timing is no longer available in the tune because we have taken out the phasers and replaced them with lockouts. So we actually had to do a little bit of clearancing. Inside of here, you notice that we had to actually clearance the chain to fit right there. And then we also had to clearance the cam cap up here for the chain to clear through right here on both of these corners. Once he gets done grinding that, we can actually put the cam caps back on the end of the cams here. And we can slide the gears onto this side. We'll have the secondary chains installed. We'll also have the cam gears installed onto the cams themselves, and everything will be in time. But then after that, being that this is a dual overhead cam car, we've done the secondary chains, so then we'll have to do the primary chain. And the primary chains basically go from the exhaust cam gears on each side down to the center down here where this crank sprocket is. And as you guys see, this is the billet crank sprocket from MMR. So we're actually going to be wrapping the primary chain from there through a tensioner, around the crank, another tensioner, and back up and around this exhaust cam gear here. We actually do have these new timing guides and timing tensioners here that I'm going to be installing here in just a second, and then I can show you guys how all this stuff works. That should work perfect. All right, now we're going to clean that thing up and get it put back onto the motor. So now that we have clearanced the cam caps, check this out. The secondary timing chain actually collides with this little piece here. We're going to have to grind down the top half of that, give it a little bit more clearance to pass up by the head. This part makes me the most nervous. So anyways, we obviously can't take the heads back off the engine, so I'm just going to hold this towel over it right here. And we've also taped off all the oil passages and everything with some clear tape, as you guys can see there. So we're just going to spray it off with brake clean afterwards and hope for the best. Doug is torquing down this cam cap again and replacing it. So I'm going to grab our two lockouts here, keep the chain in place so that way you don't knock out of time any. There it goes. So right now we're trying to spin both of the timing gears, the cam gears, around on the cam to line up the bolt holes inside of there. So that way we can put on our ARP cam gear bolts. Well, phaser bolts, but they're not phasers anymore, so. All right guys, so next up we've got our timing chain tensioner right here. Basically how this works is we've got a timing chain guide and we've got the tensioner behind it. Whenever oil pressure reaches it, basically what happens is it pushes that piston out, similar to how your brakes work whenever you push the brake pedal and it shoves hydraulic fluid into it and expands the piston. This would be right here. Your timing chain would be inside of here and it would open that piston and it would push tension up against the timing chain. So really nice and simple how that works. But I'm gonna go ahead and put these in place of where the stock ones were. Okay, now I'm gonna tighten these little bolts down by hand for right now. And if you notice in these timing chain tensioners, you see that they've got these little pins in there. And the reason for those pins is because they basically are holding those little pistons in place so they don't fling out. Okay, so now our two timing chain tensioners are in place. Now we can go ahead and grab our timing chain guides and install those into place. Okay, so these are the outer and these are the inner, I believe. Maybe I have it opposite, but anyways, this is the right side. Doug's taking out the bolt right now. We put them all back in place just so we didn't lose them. Ooh-wee. So there we have it. We've got our timing chain guide on the outside right here. Slide these here. This is one precise timing set, son. Look at that. Right past. Holy crap. Whoo, man, this thing is looking insane. Too bad we'll never see this again because there's going to be a timing cover covering it up.
Saying we gotta have a
clear timing cover
contract.
Yeah,
we could put a GoPro in there, spin it to like 9 grand. So we'll have to pull the dowels out of the other block.
Okay, that's no problem. All right guys, so check it out. We've got our cam gears put in with our secondary timing chains, the double roller. Those are the ones that typically break. So we got those double roller big chains in there. We've got our timing chain tensioners on the passenger or the driver's side head and also on the passenger side. We've also went ahead and got our big timing chain guides in place as well. Now all we're gonna have to do, Doug is actually over there on the stock block right now pulling out the dowels, because there's a dowel that goes here and a dowel that goes here. And that is basically where you would put this. And the top part goes up right against that tensioner up there, and that is what actually pushes out and pushes tension on the timing chain. So once we get those installed, basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our, well, not this side first, we actually start on this side first. We're gonna take our primary timing chain and we're gonna route it from the crank sprocket here, and we're gonna wrap it around and up around this gear and back down. And then we're gonna do the same on this front, but for the driver's side, or the passenger side, sorry. We're gonna wrap it around, come up, around that gear, down, and back around the crank. And after that, our engine will be timed. We'll just need to get a degree wheel so that we can set up our lockouts, and we'll explain that probably in a few videos from now. But we were just worried about getting the cams and everything, the timing set and all installed in today's video. So far so good. Whoa.
Ants, yeah, everywhere.
When did that happen?
I don't know. They've been here all day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. Hold up. Okay, so the only problem that we're having right now is that these dowels that go onto the secondary guides right there, the primary guides, whatever you want to call them, are not, they're not wanting to come out of this block right here, like at all. There's one right here and there's one right here, and these dowels, I kid you not, legitimately do not want to come out whatsoever. So I'm not sure exactly what to do in this situation. We can definitely order some, obviously, but then we wouldn't be able to finish the entire timing set in this video, and I was really trying to get them out, and Doug tried to get them out. And we're not able to get them out, so I don't know what's going on. Well, it's getting a little bit eerie out here. I know what you guys are probably thinking. You're like, it's only rain, why are you scared? If you guys didn't see the few videos where we had like a really bad tornado come through here and rip everything up, we almost lost the entire shop. Luckily, it went like right past us, and the tornado was literally like right up there. Anyways, though, I normally get really weird about this weather now, because generally whenever we have random rain like this out of nowhere and it gets really cool like it is outside and the pressure drops, normally it's followed by about a 30-minute time window, and then you just hear woo, and the tornado alarms kick on. So not too big of a fan of tornadoes. Holy crap, was that the back door? Are you excited? You get to go through your first Ruston tornado. Woo! Ruston strong, baby! You said I'm out of here. Guess we're gonna have to cut this video a little bit short here in just a second, but this if we had a tornado today, this would be like the 6th or 7th tornado that we've had in the last probably 8-9 months. It's been pretty wild around here. So alrighty guys, well, like I said, the weather's picking up and getting pretty bad around here, so we're about to head back home. But check it out. So today we got everything pretty much finalized. Like I said, we're waiting on, I gotta order now, I gotta get the dowels ordered for this timing chain tensioner, because we can't get the ones out of there, or not the tensioner, the guide. So we're gonna order those 2 dowels right there to get that. We're gonna probably get a next day ship, so it should be here soon. Anyways though, so once we put the dowels in there, put the timing chains, we actually already have it all timed, so all we're gonna have to do is put the dowels right here where the screwdriver is, pull this little grenade pin out, and then we'll have basically everything set and timed and ready to go. All I'm waiting on now is my oil pump, so we'll put the oil pump at the bottom, put the timing cover on the front, valve covers on the top, put the supercharger and everything back together, and then honestly we're ready to put it back in the car. So we're getting really freaking close, really close, honestly. Right, it is getting bad out here. Okay, on that note, drop a like on this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, go check out the last video up above right now of whenever a tornado came through here, and you'll know why I'm really like feeling like this. This was like 3 months ago that we almost lost our entire town. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, seriously, I'm gonna go. All right. Oh, this is fine. This car is absolutely not built for weather like this. This thing is way too low to the ground. What is going on up there? What the hell? What is happening? Oh, there's a whole UPS. Hey, Brown Santa Claus, what you doing, cuz? You got so close to the vet, son. What you doing? Okay, this is the weirdest day ever. Get me out here. Bruh. Let me out this thing. Brown Santa Claus ain't got no parts for me today, I guess. I'm pumping gas right now with a GoPro on my head. Sorority girls just drove by and they were looking at me all stupid. I don't blame them. I am an idiot. Pumping gas with a GoPro on my head.
King of all this shit, I swear that I am. Say I'm such a fucking critic, I know I am. I know that.
Go, bro.
Yeah,
I'm the motherfucking greatest. Yeah, I'm the greatest. See my competition, they just don't fit that niche. You can try